about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been
y'all
talking
talk
about this
enough.
every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I try to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
Anderson Cooper schools Charlamagne and Angela Rye. Angela Rye hypes Charlamagne up, but Anderson Cooper checks it at the door. I think Anderson just revoked Charlamagne's CNN pass, just as we were getting used to him. They finally gave Charlamagne the Harris campaign talking points. He went on there to give Anderson Cooper a piece of his mind because of that town hall debate, that awkward town hall debate. The one with the softball questions that couldn't be answered? Yeah. So now Charlamagne's out there. He's like a little wind-up doll or attack dog that they've given all the talking points to, and now he feels like he knows what he's talking about.
I think that her saying that she believes Donald Trump is a fascist got a lot of headlines because it was the first time she said it. She's been going along for days saying Mark Milley said he's a fascist. This person said this. You raised the question of authenticity in your interview with her, and that was an authentic moment where she says, yeah, I do think he's a fascist. And I think that's why it had a reaction. Donald Trump, for whatever you think about him, if you like him, if you hate him, he is certainly who he is. He's showing us who he is every single day.
Yeah, which is a fascist. And it's crazy because you still don't have news networks having that conversation. Like when somebody says, when somebody questions,
oh yeah, and this is the new word he learned, fascist. Now he's gonna use fascist 100 times going forward. Pretty much anything he talks about now.
Is Kamala Harris's blackness or is he a DEI hire? Y'all will have roundtable discussions about that, asking that question. How come you're not having roundtable discussions asking, is Donald Trump a fascist? Actually not even asking it, stating it. I mean, when you look at the things that he's talking about doing, jailing journalists, jailing his political opponents, turning the military on American citizens. The guy.
I know Charlamagne's actually suing Donald Trump for a campaign ad, but what if he turns around and sues you for calling him a fascist? People just spout these words that they're learning from people like Angela Rye, and they don't think about the consequences ever.
I said he wanted to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. How come that is not the topic of discussion on networks like CNN every day?
But do you think that, you were raising this with Kamala Harris about her own authenticity, about her own willingness to just, say things that aren't crafted. Do you think she needs to do more of that? Trump's going to go. Trump's going to go. Apparently, Trump's going on. Is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
Oh, why did he bring up Joe Rogan, Charlamagne's arch nemesis? Charlamagne, that's who Charlamagne thinks he should be in this culture right now. Joe Rogan has the numbers and he has the ears of America and a specific voting bloc. Charlamagne feels he should have that influence, and he kind of puts himself out there as a modern age Howard Stern of some sort. He's just not that influential.
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist, and I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic, but a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares. Like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
You bring everything back to Donald Trump. You have gotten your marching orders. That is exactly what they want you to do, because we saw it. We saw it in action. We saw when Anderson Cooper was up there. A pretty softball town hall ends up being ridiculous. And I guess they're coming on here to attack Anderson because he was not in the bag for Kamala. He was actually being a journalist, being unbiased, asking real questions.
Well, I think you give damn who's elected president.
Cackling in the back.
That president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people?
You've heard those very words uttered out of Kamala Harris's mouth. Now tell me, he didn't get his marching orders before this interview.
about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been
y'all
talking about
it
this
enough.
every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about, Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
Go
ahead, Anderson.
No.
Check him.
I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black,
I've seen that. I've seen
that's
those roundtable
definitely
discussions
on.
a lot. Now
That's
that's
true.
bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
I'm not saying
Kamala
you.
Harris
I said
Not
the
you.
network.
He said the network.
I don't think anyone I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, is she black?
Y'all.
Right, and there's a big difference between people who come on and give their opinion as opposed to the anchors and the representatives of the network. You should know that. You've been there enough. That's all he's saying to you. But for some reason, y'all want to beat up on Anderson Cooper because he was the one that hosted the town hall. And like you said, you didn't get the result that you wanted. But that has a lot to do with preparation. That has a lot to do with what actually standing for something looks like. That was failed.
Never
It's
had
definitely
We have had. Look, I'm sure we have had.
Here's Angela.
Nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something. But I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I try to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think
that was a shot at Charlamagne himself. Listen very carefully to what this man said. He basically disinvited him from ever coming on the air again, or it was a warning. It was probably more of a warning shot because Charlamagne only knows what it is to be out there and be pro-Kamala. To be part of the campaign. And Anderson very swiftly reminds him, you can not come here if you don't want to.
I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president, but it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching, but I don't know any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions. I don't know. I don't know. I disagree.
I don't think it's about validating. What you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying that we're not. That I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out and talking to, what John Kelly. This has been discussed. There's
Anderson.
Let me just.
I don't know who told him it was a good idea to go up there and insult the man's profession just because he has come up with some simple questions and she had no answers whatsoever. I heard somebody say it was a one-woman debate and Kamala Harris lost. Once again, why is Charlamagne being constantly propped up as someone we should look to for political thought? He doesn't represent a demographic. He doesn't represent anybody but himself and the talking points that Kamala Harris's campaign gave him.
There is nobody on the planet who has not heard and seen pretty much everything Donald Trump has said and knows.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Well, knows who he is, whether they believe it or not, whether they care or not.
When the vice president said that to you last night, she said, "I don't think enough people know." I 100% believe enough people have not heard.
That's what this is about.
What do you think, Angela?
I was just about to say, can y'all tag me in? I'm never doing this with y'all ever again.
Angela, yes. It's the problem of being on satellite. Yes.
I know, it is a problem. No, I was just going to say, I think what you're saying is fair, that there have been roundtable discussions where y'all raised this. I think the problem is it would be nice for, you to cut to camera and say, I'm looking right here, right now. Y'all, Kamala Harris is a black woman.
But
let's move right along.
Yeah,
but I was going to say, to your colleague's credit, Jake, right after the town hall yesterday, He said that you all had the opportunity to critique what Kamala Harris' policy proposals were, what her positions were, what her recommendations were, whether or not she answered a question fair enough, because, ta-da, she's the only one that showed up for the town hall. Yeah. It was supposed to be a debate. He said that. I think that the point is we don't hear those things enough, and it has been a threat. We cannot say, oh, Kamala is going on with Joe Rogan, Donald Trump is going on with Joe Rogan, but Kamala's choosing Club Shay Shay. Debate it. Like, it's like, what is he going to say when he goes on? Here's
what I've been saying, which is, it is a double standard because Kamala Harris has policies and she talks about her policies. And you may think she doesn't talk in detail enough about her policies, and plenty do. And I pushed her on that last night. I quizzed. I try to look at the policies from different, but she's got stated policies and you can look them up. Donald Trump does not have policies.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and we say, I mean, this is nothing new. We talk about this all the time. He does not have his policy. In 2016, his policy for Iraq was taking Iraq's oil by using U.S. soldiers to surround the oil fields and extract the oil somehow and bring it to America. I mean, literally, and I was like, that's not a thing. So that's been going on now. That's what
you just did. What you just did is what I would like to hear more pundits do, because a lot of times we ask answers.
All right,
like we say things like.
Charlamagne doesn't even know if Anderson Cooper is a host or a pundit. And see, that's the problem. Why is this man sitting here? There's so many other qualified people that could be sitting on CNN right now, getting to the core of things, actually being informed. But no, Charlamagne is a radio host, and for some reason he gets to represent, I don't know what demographic, black men. This is bad.
Like we say things like, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist? Like, I think we kind of got enough evidence to know that answer.
I'm not a pundit. I'm not interested. I don't think my opinion is particularly interesting for viewers out there. I'm interested in
I disagree.
Well, okay, you can quibble with it.
I disagree with that too.
You can quibble with it. But I believe in asking questions and probing people's arguments and trying to reveal people's arguments, what's true and what's not. And I'm not on MSNBC for a reason. I'm not on some other network for a reason. I'm on CNN because I want.
You heard that? He called it out. He's saying the bias of MSNBC is clear. He said, I'm not on MSNBC. I'm not on MSNBC for a reason. All y'all people that are out there getting all your information from MSNBC, just realize it is not straight down the middle news. It is opinion. It is talking points from the DNC, most likely.
I want to talk to Republicans. I want to talk to Democrats, and I want to learn from them. I don't think I have the answers. I'm willing to change my mind. People can convince me of stuff all the time. I'm not I don't even know for a reason. I'm on CNN because I want to talk to Republicans. I want to talk to Democrats, and I want to learn from them. I don't think I have the answers. I'm willing to change my mind. People can convince me of stuff all the time. I'm not I don't even know why I'm talking about myself. I don't even like talking about myself.
No, but Anderson,
but my point is,
I want to tell you this.
I think what we're doing here is important because I do think in this country where, you know what, I got so many, I don't look at comments about myself, but I was looking up some comments about my Grief podcast, and I came across this whole inundation from people who are Harris supporters saying to me online today, like, how dare you, what a betrayal that you would ask her these questions.
No,
and I'm like,
job.
You misunderstand what my job is. I'm not on MSNBC, or I'm no disrespect, what they do is, they're very talented. But I don't watch it. I'm not interested in watching what these overpaid blow-dried anchors think, and I include myself in that overpaid blow-dried, although I don't blow-dry. I am overpaid. But I'm not interested in the anchor's opinion. I'm interested in facts and letting the viewers make up their own mind. So anyway, I'm sorry this devolved.
Boom. Drop bombs on them.
I like that you said that, but I will just say in this moment, some of what we're talking about tonight, Anderson, is not actually an opinion at all. It is just the facts. And you are one of the most trusted voices on television. And it is important in those moments where you know those conversations devolve into nonsense, particularly on the other side of the aisle. They're conspiracy theory. They won't even say her name right.
You heard that? She got that conspiracy theory line from right here. I was the first one talking about Kamala was a conspiracy theorist. Now they're trying to throw it back. They got their ear to the streets and they're hearing what we're saying over here. We were talking about these conspiracy theories because every theory they have on Donald Trump has not been proven. Every one of them has a reasonable explanation, and they run off and they talk about him being everything but a child of God with no proof, with no facts to back it up. But what we've got to understand is the spin. What Anderson Cooper was talking about with MSNBC. These people are these exact same people. They got their marching orders and they're out here trying to complete the mission.
Moments where you know those conversations devolve into nonsense, particularly on the other side of the aisle. They're conspiracy theory. They won't even say her name right. That has to be checked in the moment because that is what...
As far as we know, that name and that spelling can be pronounced in multiple ways. Stop it. Stop that making Michael Eric Dyson making that a big deal. You know, people pronounce Kamala the Ugandan giant, which we've known since I was a kid, from the WWF, from the WWE, as Kamala. That is how that name was pronounced. It's only now that we've gotten the name Kamala. So forgive people for not being able to pronounce her name properly or as you see fit.
Is what fascism looks like. That is how we start sliding down a very slippery slope, and we cannot afford to be here. The election is 12 days away, and this should not be even what is on the ballot, but democracy's on the line. That is not a partisan issue. It is the truth. And I think that's what's important for cable news networks in particular to be saying, whether you're on Fox, you're on CNN, or you're on MSNBC. For all of us, that is our responsibility and our patriotic duty.
And now that I know you can literally call bullshit, I want to hear it more.
Charlamagne the God, thank you, Angela Rye. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anderson.
Appreciate it.
So, okay, we're 12 days out, and you see the campaign is now in a frenzy. They know they're losing. They can see the poll numbers. They've sent people out on fire, on alert to say that, you know, he is a threat to democracy. There's no other option. There's nothing that can be done. But unfortunately, it's going to be interesting to see the steps of this campaign after it's all said and done. But in the meantime, Kamala got to hold her L. I don't care how much Monday morning quarterbacking we got going on here. No amount of Monday morning quarterbacking can change her lackluster performance on that CNN stage. Like I said, she was in a one-person debate and lost. That's almost impossible. Even some of the voters that were in the talkback, like, can you stop with the sophomoric insults, high school insults? Talk about what you've actually done, accomplished, and what your plans are for the future of this campaign. This campaign cannot be won on Donald Trump bad alone. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. That way you can stay up to date on all things Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.